Subscribe to our YouTube channel and don't forget to press the bell icon to get all the latest updates.
High drama for the Congress party today as Sachin Pilot, the Deputy Chief Minister of Rajasthan, declared an open revolt arriving in the capital in what could have been a coup, but so far at least has proved not to be one. The Ashok Gehlot government in Rajasthan has survived, but at the same time, legislators have been moved to resorts. We're back to resort politics. Clearly, the Congress feeling the anxiety that if the BJP gets involved in the act, anything could happen. The point is not about Rajasthan. The point is about a crisis in the Congress party's leadership. There could be two views over how Sachin Pilot should have played his hand, but there literally seem to be no longer any two views over the losing grip of the Gandhi family over the Congress party and in the wider imagination of the voting public. To discuss this big political story, we're joined on the program by Tehseen Poonawalla. We, of course, know him to be an articulate supporter of the Congress party and indeed, so far at least, of the Gandhi family, unless he's changed his politics, because these days anything can happen. We're also joined by Sanjay Jha. The reason I say anything can happen is I've known Sanjay for many years to be one of the big admirers of the Gandhi family. He has since been sacked as a spokesperson of the party for saying some blunt words. Welcome, Sanjay. And then, of course, the veteran journalist who I think knows the Congress better than anybody else, Rasheed Kidwai. So let me start with you, Sanjay, if I may, only because when we were talking on this program earlier, you actually named Sachin Pilot and you said that if to borrow a metaphor from cricket, if Rahul Gandhi wants to remain Tendulkar, he needs to get out of the captaincy and let Sachin Pilot be either Ganguly or Dhoni. But today, has Sachin Pilot been either Ganguly or Dhoni, or has he just thrown a googly that didn't work? Bowled a googly that didn't work?
Well, Barkha, firstly, I think I stand vindicated by actually giving a heads up about what is likely to happen in the Congress. And I think you nailed it in your introduction to this program. This is symptomatic of the larger simmering discontent within the party. And if anybody believes that the Rajasthan story is over, let me tell you, the script has just started playing out. The reason behind that is very straightforward. You have a situation today where people are not just looking at the states and their own political role. That's a very myopic vision. People are looking at what is the larger existential challenge for the Congress party as a whole. Because, end of day, no matter how well Sachin Pilot were to do in Rajasthan, if the Congress party is going to surrender states like Madhya Pradesh, lose stalwarts and political heavyweights or assets like Jyotiraditya Scindia, you meekly surrender Karnataka. The perception that the Congress party at the central level is enervated and emasculated enough not to take on the BJP, the damage is pan-India. The perception that the Congress party today looks like an absolute shadow of its former formidable self is not even an exaggeration. So I think political leaders today are deeply concerned, and I can tell you, Barkha, and I'm going to say it with responsibility on your program, there are several leaders in Delhi today who shared the same angst and apprehension.
I agree with you because I've spent pretty much the whole day on the phone with a number of prominent Congress leaders. My packed journalist pact forbids me from naming names here, but literally everybody in the Congress feels the same way today, except for what is loosely called the old guard. Now, Tehseen Poonawalla, it's not that, while standing loyal with the Gandhis, you have questioned the coterie around them. You have questioned whether they know their politics. Now, no one is undermining Gehlot. Ashok Gehlot is obviously a serious politician. I'm not going to take that away from him. The reason that Congress was able to form a government in Rajasthan is because he was able to garner the support of the independents when it was needed. It was a closer contest than many believed. But I think Sanjay Jha is right that the fallout of what's happening with Sachin Pilot is national. It's not regional. If you do a dipstick poll among people who do not vote Congress, even who are among BJP supporters, Sachin Pilot ranks as somebody who's well-liked, who's admired, who's seen as someone who, even though he's a dynast, has worked on the ground. Can you really afford another Scindia moment, Tehseen?
So, first of all, Barkha, let's get something clear. And I agree with you that Ashok Gehlot ji is a very, very serious politician. Not just in Rajasthan, where he managed to get the independence, but when I was in Rajasthan during those elections, and I was 2 months in Rajasthan, December and January at a stretch, everyone that I met, every single person wanted Ashok ji as chief minister. This is, I'm talking about voters, even BJP voters. Secondly, it is between Ashok Gehlot ji and Kamal Nath ji. It is the MLAs who were elected who selected them as chief minister. This was not a decision of Rahul Gandhi. Now, the paradox is, and I find this very amusing, the BJP says, look, you've been unkind to Sachin, he was the PCC president of Rajasthan. By that logic, Kamal Nath was the PCC president of Madhya Pradesh. Why is the yardstick different for Sachin Pilot and the yardstick different for Kamal Nath? Look, at the end of the day, BJP, until many a times on your television shows, Barkha, which were actually sensible shows, and unlike the republic of nonsense that we have today, and I'm not quoting any news channels, would say that, look, Congress is a dynasty. It's got the Gandhi family, it's got Jyotiraditya Scindia, it's got Sachin Pilot. Today, suddenly the same BJP took Jyotiraditya Scindia and is praising Sachin Pilot.
And of course, Sanjay Jha is not from the BJP. And
of course, Sanjay Jha is not.
Technically, he's still from the Congress.
Of course, Sanjay Jha.
Till he is sacked from that too. Technically, he's still
Sanjay.
Technically, he's still from the Congress, right?
Of course, Sanjay is very new.
There's no BJP on this panel.
I'm quoting because the BJP would keep saying against dynasty, and today the same BJP is turned turtle. Now I come to my dear friend Sanjay. I have a lot of respect for Sanjay. He's a great guy. But being a great guy does not mean you're politically articulate or you have the political sense. By Sanjay saying, I predicted this. Look, yes, there was discord. There was nothing hidden in there. There was no prediction. Should the Gandhis or should the High Command have stepped in earlier? Perhaps communication could have been better. But to tell Barkha, a person, and you've covered Sachin Pilot. I remember your legendary interview with Sachin Pilot when he got, when he joined the army, the recreational army. It was a brilliant interview. Sachin Pilot, 26 member of parliament, 30 union minister MOS. After that, he was independent charge. PCC president at 40. He's got promotion every 6-7 years. Barkha, somebody like me who's outside, when I look at the promotions a Sachin Pilot and a Jyotir get, I can only be envious. Maybe they wanted more, but I'm saying in 10 years they've got a lot. They have, and I think they should still be welcome back in the party.
So I'll tell you, it's true for all professions, from media to politics, that if you think you're worth more than you get,
exactly.
there is a point when you can't remain in the shadows. I think that's happened to all of us.
Whose shadow? May I ask you?
The shadows of your managers, the shadow of your promoters, the shadow of your employers. In this case, the shadow of the Gandhi family.
Okay, but can I just one line? Give me a line.
Every step.
Give me a line. Please, may I ask you one line?
I want to respond to.
One line.
I want to respond to Tehseen.
One line. Of course, Sanjay, you should. This is Barkha show. This is Barkha show, not the Republic of Nonsense. But yeah, let me just give you one thing. Sachin, if you keep saying was in the shadows of the Gandhis, Sachin chose to go to Rajasthan. If you say Sachin was in the shadow of the Gandhis, Rahul never became a minister, Sachin became a minister, Jyotir became. That's unfair. That's unfair.
Hang on. Before Sanjay responds, I want to get Rasheed in. Rasheed, a congressman whom I won't name said to me today that actually Rahul Gandhi has got exactly what he wanted. Because the two men who were considered as people who could have replaced him, who could have possibly been a younger face of the Congress and led the Congress, Jyotiraditya Scindia and Sachin Pilot, are now effectively out of the party. Randeep Surjewala may have made noises about the doors are open for Sachin, but the resolution subsequently, the wording of the resolution that Ashok Gehlot moves, talks about disciplinary action that clearly includes Sachin Pilot. I think the chapter on this is over for Sachin. I think Sachin is out. I think we're going to see a regional outfit, maybe working closely with the BJP. Do you buy this conspiracy theory that actually what's happened suits the Gandhis because there are no contenders left within the party?
I think this is something that Sachin Pilot can answer, but the key point is here, what are we talking about? We are talking about numbers, which are very important in democracy. Who should be the chief minister?
Yeah.
Sonia Gandhi, I understand, had made a mistake, a blunder, I would say, making Ajit Jogi a chief minister of Chhattisgarh because numbers were clearly not with them. And she, disregarded whatever Charan Shukla and the claimants were. Both in Madhya Pradesh and in Chhattisgarh, a head count was taken, and head count even today, favored Kamal Nath and Ashok Gehlot. So one, this is a fundamental of or elementary of any democracy is about numbers. Second thing is, what is Sachin Pilot complaining about? He's talking about that he's not being, allowed in transfer postings, all those things.
Rasheed, he was sent a police notice. He was sent a police
I'll come to
notice.
it. We all know, we all read newspapers. No, I'm saying is, in that 18 months, what has been a problem? And he's a PWD minister, his, photograph doesn't come, he's not able to cut ribbon, all those things which are political in nature. And I don't grudge, I think he's absolutely within his rights to complain. But what is he talking about? He's talking about going possibly on the other side. What does other side stand for? This is not my creation, whether it is hate speech, whether it is mob lynching, whether it is all those, so to say, Hindutva, all those things. 18 months ago, you fought. This is the same thing I complained I have with Jyotiraditya also. I know ideology has no place. I know I may be talking nonsense.
No, Rasheed, the Congress is in government today with the Shiv Sena. The Congress is in no position to talk about ideology. That's what I would say. That I played in a post-ideology.
That also, Mr. That
politics.
No. The Shiv Sena has not been part of Sangh Parivar. Of course, Shiv Sena is very hawkish and rowdy. All those things are saying. Anyway, I'm not holding a brief for Congress. Point I'm making is very clear that, in 18 months, what has changed in Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan that, should prompt these young leaders to move. And there's so many youngsters, millions of them, who not even get ticket to, be MLA or member of parliament. So any party post.
So let me take this to Sanjay. Sanjay, now you've heard the counter arguments from both Tehseen and Rasheed. What did Sachin, I beg your pardon, have to complain about? And why should he have been aiming for more?
Barkha, let me just debunk and let me use blunt words. The absolute bizarre arguments put forward by my good friend Rasheed, whom I respect a lot, and the trash uttered by my friend Tehseen Poonawalla.
Strong words.
It's time to stop being politically correct. It's boring, Barkha. And I want to let you know that political instinct necessarily doesn't happen with some kind of a marital relationship. So the truth of the matter is that let's look at Sachin Pilot's situation.
Yeah.
In 2000, let me give you data. Let's skip the rhetoric. 2013, Ashok Gehlot is the chief minister of the Congress government in Maharashtra. You want to see the assembly results of that year? The Congress is down under Mr. Gehlot's leadership to 21 seats, the worst ever in the history of the Congress under Mr. Gehlot. The BJP moves to 166. 5 years, when Mr. Modi and Mr. Shah are the big juggernaut running India, and you know what an election machine they are, Sachin Pilot works for 5 years in Rajasthan. Why doesn't either Mr. Kidwai or Mr. Poonawalla pull out the itinerary of who spent how many days in Rajasthan doing what? And if Congress party won in 2018, it is the truth that it was a spectacular comeback on the single-handed effort of Sachin Pilot. And what does the Congress party do? It puts a man as a chief minister who brought the Congress to a miserable 21 and had already been a chief minister twice. Is this a reward for performance? Is this a meritocratic party?
Tehseen, do you believe that, let me just add a couple of questions and you can respond to both you and Rasheed. Do you believe those notices on the charge of destabilizing the government were fair? Do you believe Gehlot's attempt to get Sachin out as PCC president are legitimate politics? I'm again not taking away from the seriousness of Ashok Gehlot as a politician. I have all the respect for him as somebody who has grassroots, who's built the garden in Rajasthan. But there also has to come a time. It's a little bit like me saying, I'm forever going to be the 9 p.m., 8 p.m., 10 p.m. anchor. There's never going to be a new breed of journalists, right? You've got to make way. You've got to make space and then let the chips fall where they do.
You're absolutely right, Barkha. So let's understand a couple of things. Let me first address what you said. This notice under 124A, which is also sedition, was not just to Sachin Pilot. It was also to Ashok Gehlot. Now, I just want to take a little time to talk about this notice.
You're saying the police on its own decided to send notices to the chief minister and the deputy chief minister of Rajasthan.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not a cub reporter. You please try and convince. Try and tell the story to someone else.
But may be allowed to make my point. Of course, I know you're not a cub reporter, which is why I'm on your show, because you are one of the foremost journalists who we respect. So hear this out. Let me finish, and then you can counter me.
Okay.
This notice was sent by the police under 124A. For what reason? The police in Rajasthan were investigating a terror charge. That was an automatic process. Within those keywords came certain amount being told, which was first thought to be for terror attack. Then they realized this was to destabilize the government. Within those keywords were two words used, Sachin Pilot and Ashok Gehlot. This is factual. So they went back to the chief minister and the deputy chief minister and said, look, there's an attempt to destabilize the government. This is what we've got on record.
Okay.
The BJP spending 20 to 25 crore per MLA. It's on record by the police. Now we need to get your version. Both people had to get the version. I'm also not debunking that Sachin Pilot should have been taken more into confidence. I said that earlier on your show. But now for the person who says that that some arguments were trash, you know, the morning he tweeted that he's with Sachin Pilot, I knew that this matters, the Congress government in Rajasthan will survive, because that's exactly the definition of crash. At least I get my prediction bang on, correct on your show, and you're witness to it. I'll never fall flat. And I'll tell you why. And I'll tell you why. And I'll tell you why. The fact of the matter is, nobody's undermining Sachin's efforts. Sachin did a lot for the organization, but the organization was built by Mr. Gehlot that chose Mr. Gehlot as chief minister. When I was in Rajasthan, when I was in Rajasthan from December to February, staying at the Crown Plaza Hotel, where somebody was in Mumbai playing tennis in their five-star hotels and clubs. At that point, every single person from Jaipur to Barmer to Jodhpur to Udaipur was saying that Ashok Gehlot must be chief minister. How does the Gandhis go against that?
Okay, I'll let Sanjay respond.
Playing tennis.
I'll respond, and Sanjay can respond later to the.
And Sanjay, this is not personal. Don't make this personal.
Okay,
we're not going to be enemies.
I need to get Rasheed then. Rasheed, 2 points made by Sanjay. One is that Ashok Gehlot's performance is not what it's held up to be. If you look at the numbers, let the numbers do the talking. My take is slightly different. My take is you can well make the argument that Gehlot commands the MLAs in Rajasthan. And I would actually not dispute that. I think that's being borne out by the numbers. The damage to the Congress is at a national level. The damage is happening elsewhere. The conflict is playing out regionally. The consequence is national. The consequence is about the perception of leadership. Would you agree with that, or would you say Sachin Pilot, no big loss to the party?
Barkha, I would say, you see, when did Congress party, whether it was Mr. Sanjay Jha or Sachin Pilot or Jyotirindra Scindia, discover that Sonia Gandhi is not, fit to be Congress president in terms of her political acumen, her handling, accessibility, decision-making process, or for that matter, even Rahul Gandhi, who's been vice president, general secretary, all these things from 2004 to 14. See, why is that these questions are being raised when Congress is out of power, when it's looking weak and vulnerable? You see this sudden realization that, Rahul Gandhi is not fit to be a leader. And even if assuming he is not fit to be a leader, why a proper leadership challenge is not thrown to him within the party? There is mechanism. And they keep repeating, Mr. Arjun Singh did that against Narasimha Rao. So all these things are not done. Who's raising banner of revolt? Mr. Sanjay Jha, Mr. Shahzad Poonawalla? Is this that level or hierarchy that you're posing challenge to
Okay, Rasheed, I'll get Sanjay respond to that, but I have a question for you. The fact of the matter is that after parading his MLAs, Mr. Gehlot has had to bust the same MLAs to resorts. That means that that is displaying an absence of confidence. That is displaying that if the BJP gets into the act, and if the BJP starts working with Sachin Pilot, then the numbers could play out differently. Do you agree with that, Rasheed? Rasheed? Okay, we've lost. We will get Rasheed back. Sanjay, let's bring you. Yeah, give me a second. Let me bring Sanjay.
When I heard Rasheed and Poonawalla, I realized this is the danger for the Congress. These are the manifestations of self-denial. People living in a fool's paradise. Can you imagine at this point of time, after losing 2 Lok Sabha elections, Barkha, coming down to 44 and 52 seats, for God's sake? It's wretched, it's abject political performance by a party that once had 48% vote share and 414 seats in the Lok Sabha. We have lost Karnataka, you have lost Jyotiraditya, you have given up Madhya Pradesh. Rajasthan, like it or not, will remain susceptible for a long, long time if it remains with the Congress at all, looking at the political situation. This is political harakiri at its worst. You have to be absolutely, irrationally arrogant, like the way Poonawalla and Rasheed are sounding, who believe that it's Shahzad or Sanjay Jha. By the way, I said it at the beginning, I am not going to disclose the names of people who are at the forefront and the front line of what is going to be a big challenge to resurrect the Congress party. This is not against the Gandhi family or anything like that. This is about rejuvenating the Congress, because we need to do that without wasting any further time.
Okay, Tehseen,
May I
the same
respond?
Yes, and my added question, because we lost the line to Rasheed, we'll try and get him back. Why does Mr. Gehlot have to bus MLAs into resorts if he's so confident that they're not going to be poached and that the party stands, or the majority of the party stands firmly with it?
May I answer that first? Because
Yes.
there is a video record, there's an audio recording of 20 to 25 crore per MLA to be spent. This number also tallies with what happened in Karnataka, where on the floor of the assembly, and it's recorded, the then Honorable Chief Minister, now Honorable Chief Minister, said, look, we'll spend 20, 25 crores. In Madhya Pradesh, out of the 23 people Jyotiraditya took with him, 14 have been made ministers. If you and Barkha, and you're not a cub reporter in your own words, if you don't see this as bribery, I don't know. So I have to protect my people. You cannot tell me why am I protecting my people.
I'm saying if they have
I'm
a
wrong.
price tag, I'm saying if they have a price tag on them, they're going to be gone sooner rather than later.
Right.
That's the reality of politics. If they have
that
a
is
price
the
tag on
reality.
them.
That is the reality of politics, Barkha. But are you telling me that I should not even attempt to save myself when somebody's paying me 25 crore, is doing something illegal which is against the CRPC and IPC? I shall not attempt to save myself. The same Barkha that will say you surrendered Karnataka.
Okay,
now let me come to Sanjay Singh. Let me rebut Sanjay. Give me a second.
Okay.
Let me rebut Sanjay.
Okay.
On your show, Barkha, on the erstwhile channel, the last channel you were with, on your show, I was there exclusively saying that calling the Congress out, saying in 2019 it needs to wake up and smell the coffee. That was my piece. It was trending. At that time, spokespersons like Sanjay Jha were defending what I was saying. Today they're turning around and saying, no, the Poonawalla is selfish. No, the problem is not Poonawalla selfish. The problem is you guys don't have a political acumen. Neither does Mani Shankar Iyer have, neither does Sanjay Jha have.
But what happened to you?
The Gandhis, that I said it then on your show, I say it now. The Gandhis are more relevant. It is the Gandhis who can save the Congress, because one person who will not go towards the BJP is the Gandhis and Rahul Gandhi. He is needed now more than ever. It was a mistake for him to resign.
So 1 minute.
I say it now.
1 minute. You are calling Sanjay Jha an opportunist. What makes you believe in the Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi's leadership? Are you not seeing a failure of leadership in the departure of people like Scindia and Sachin? Are you not seeing the discontent Tehseen within the party? I remember your words. You said they're surrounded by people who I think your words were, an auto driver knows more politics than they do. I remember your words. That's what you said.
The office, I agree with that, and I stand by that. And I said even then, Rahul is needed now. He should not resign. Priyanka is needed. The only people who can save the Congress and be the gravitas against whom we can stand up to the BJP are the Gandhis. Now let me tell you one more thing.
Because one family owns the Congress party.
No, it doesn't. May I give you data? Because when Rahul Gandhi was president, the Congress formed a government in Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh. The Congress gave a tough fight in Gujarat, and the only election it lost was the Lok Sabha. Big election, but it lost. Rahul should have got up, dusted himself, and continued to fight. The fact of the matter was, in 2019, many people, including the fortunates sitting here, did not support Rahul in winning the election. Otherwise, Rahul would have won 2019 or got a close fight for the Congress.
So blame the organization, never the leader.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
That's what it is. That's what Priyanka Gandhi did when she went and made that speech in Rai Bareli, and she said, "Sab aapki galti hai. Hamari koi galti nahi, sab aapki galti hai." Sanjay Jha, let's bring you in. Concluding remarks from both of you now.
Yeah, I think, Barkha, let's cut the chase.
Yeah.
Mr. Rahul Gandhi resigned in 2019, taking accountability for the defeat in the Lok Sabha election. Tehseen Poonawalla, that's what Mr. Gandhi himself said so publicly. As a leader, I failed. There's no need for you to debate that. Number two, he said, I don't want a member of the Gandhi family to lead the party. And I will not nominate anybody either, because that's not the right way for the Congress president to do it. I empower the CWC to choose a leader at the earliest. The question, Barkha, that we need to ask of the Congress party today, and including via your medium of your channel, I would like to ask the Congress leadership and the CWC, why has Mr. Gandhi's words not been executed and implemented? That is what Mr. Kidwai and Mr. Poonawalla should be asking. You have delayed for a year and 1 month already. Is this the way the Congress is going to take on the BJP?
May I reply to that?
Yes. So Tehseen, by Rahul Gandhi's own telling, no one from the family was going to lead the party.
Yes.
What happened to all that?
Yes. Now, quick answer. Sanjay Jha, when Mr. Gandhi stepped down and took onus, did Mr. Pilot, for example, step down? He was the PCC president in Rajasthan.
That's not the
Did he
answer.
step down? No, don't interrupt me. I never interrupted you. Let's have a civil debate. Did Mr. Pilot step down? Why did Mr. Pilot not take onus for Rajasthan? The so-called Mr. Scindia, who lost his own seat, why did he not take onus? Why didn't they send you to CWC? Now,
Mr. Scindia resigned as General Secretary when Priyanka Gandhi did not. One was General Secretary East, one was General Secretary West, if I remember correctly, and Scindia resigned, Priyanka did not.
Because yes, Mr. Scindia resigned way later because Mr. Scindia wanted to be PCC president like Sachin Pilot. That was the debate. I was on that debate. Let's not confuse issues and try to get into whataboutery. But let me ask you one question out here. I agree that the Congress has gone through a bad time. I'm asking you today, which is the one leader who's continuously taken on the BJP and not compromised his idol? Earlier you spoke about Shiv Sena. I will tell you something. The Congress made the Shiv Sena change colors. The Shiv Sena to accept secularism. Who else has done that? Everybody who's running to the BJP is today justifying lynching, is today justifying the very things that founded our Congress. Why?
Okay. Last 30 seconds to both of you. Let's come back to the story we were discussing. Sachin Pilot. What is the consequence, Sanjay? And the contrary question, if Sachin Pilot really had the numbers to break Gehlot, he's failed to do that so far. We don't know. We'll have to see what happens. He's probably headed for a regional outfit, one that will work closely with the BJP. It seems that's realpolitik. What do you think Sachin has failed to play this hand effectively?
Barkha, not at all. I think Sachin's move is a visible manifestation of the fact that Congress leaders who truly believe that India needs a secular, inclusive democracy and where politics should be, you should have your career on an escalator based on your merit and your performance, they are going to force a change to happen. I think it's a fantastic sign. And, the situation remains remarkably fluid because end of day, when you said that Mr. Gehlot has more MLAs, well, he's been a two-term chief minister before. He's been a chief minister for the third time. There are bound to be MLAs who are going to have some kind of an allegiance with him. But that doesn't change the fact that the 2018 victory happened because Sachin Pilot delivered.
Okay, there can be, that is a different debate. Tehseen, very quickly, do you believe Rahul Gandhi should make an attempt to make peace with Sachin Pilot? The resolution seems to say, okay, Sachin, bye-bye.
Without doubt, Rahul should pick up the phone, call up Sachin Pilot. Politics is the art of keeping everybody as your friends, not the art of making everybody your enemy. If it requires, Rahul Gandhi should personally drive down to Sachin, go meet him and say, it's over and let bygones be bygones. I would do that and I hope Rahul does that. And I hope they know bygones after this show as well. All the bygones are gone after this show. Especially with Sanjay.
I know Sanjay didn't respond to your dig about him playing tennis. Sanjay,
you know what? Can I tell you why? Barkha, can I tell you why? Because I won those tennis matches and I know that somebody who can't even hold a racket straight is obviously going to crib and complain. It's okay. I understand.
Sanjay, you choose the court, choose the time, we'll have a game.
Chalo, at least out of this, we may not get a revamped Congress party, but we'll get a new tennis game of Wally's lobbies, and we'll leave the question open over who has the final ace. For now, it's a deuce. Tehseen Poonawalla.
Thank you.
Sanjay Jha.
Thank you.
And
this was
Rasheed.
Fun.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Pleasure having you all on. Thank you. Bye, guys. Thank you.